Water start by Slingsby. Oh my word, this is so tight. Perfect from Fletcher, it's perfect from Slingsby.
We are now coming up on 45 seconds to go before the start of this race. 11 teams out in the start box, and it'll be all on as they will be racing to mark number 1. It'll be a great day of racing here at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney.
Well, here we go. We see on the left-hand side here before the start. Here's the pre-event points. Now, there were some penalties out there in practice yesterday. Disastrous for Germany and Brazil. They're going to struggle to fight back from here as we come into the start. We see New Zealand up and foiling. It's tight with Canada. Our pole predictor sits on the Swiss. New Zealand struggling to start well. They're going to be focused on a big start here. They've got to be up and foiling. The bottom of the line, Spain and Australia fighting hard. Who's going to get their timing right into the line? We watch for the line to turn white. Who's judged it right? Oh, it was perfect by the Swiss, just behind the line. Now, can they accelerate that boat down towards Mark 1? They've got a faster angle, but Contant de la Pierre back with a bang. I think he will be able to hold on the inside as they head into the mark.
And the race is on to mark number 1 here in the first race of the day at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney, the Rolex SailGP Championship. And at mark 1, it is France. Welcome back to the fleet, Contant de la Pierre.
Oh, they blur their back, Todd. They're back, and what a start from de la Pierre. Come out red hot there. Brilliant work as he swings away, and now he controls
this
the
is the
first
umpires.
decision.
Penalty Italy, relative Brazil. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, wow, where was that penalty from? Brazil and Italy look quite well separated. Must have been back quite near the start line. That means Italy need to drop back behind Brazil. Outstanding performers of the last event in Auckland were Italy, but this is disastrous as we see Brazil off the foils as well. The Italians have got a long way to drop back.
The Italians currently sit in second place, but they have to yield up those positions. It is France out in front, and it looks like Spain and New Zealand and Australia will be the big winners after this penalty is resolved.
Yeah, it's a great spot, Todd, because the Australians, I mean, one thing we've seen is how fast they are, and they found space. They're going to look to try and get left turn, but I think they're struggling. Could be one more manoeuvre for the Australians here. Expect France to turn left, and we're going to learn a lot. Who's correct with this decision? Is it favoured to turn left, or is it favoured to turn right at gate 2?
And you are right, Stevie. Look at the Australians. They do have the right of way. They do dip behind Switzerland, so it's France at the DP World gate number 2, and it's Switzerland in second place. Australia, they opt for the right-hand side of the course. Spain and Denmark will follow them, with the Kiwis going the way with the French and the Swiss.
Yeah, we're going to learn quite a lot about the racetrack here, Todd. The Australians have turned, they're just gone off to the bottom left-hand corner of our screen, and they will be looking to find more wind and space heading that way. It's tight in the pack. Here come Brazil. They've got to give room to the Germans, but they're so much faster. They're both going to be around the outside. Canada, they've got to avoid Brazil here. Careful, it's really tight. As soon as you're back in the pack, it's so tight. Here we see Canada set up for a manoeuvre.
Turning. FD on it.
Giles Scott executing that maneuver right there. Meanwhile, it is France out in front. Australia has moved into second place with Spain, the overall champions of last year. They now sit currently on 4th.
Oh, the wind's really shifty, and that was a pretty good gain to Australia. They're going to have to dip behind the Swiss. Got these new systems on the boat there. The green suggests right of way, red circles saying you've got to keep clear. So Swiss have got the right of way. France need to be sure they're ahead. Who's judged that right? Looks pretty good to me. Perfect judgment, but the Swiss, they're on a good wind shift at the moment. They were progressing straight up those ladder lines, and they're going to be challenging the French at the next intersection.
This is leg 3 of 7, the first of 4 races today here in Sydney. Stevie, how much rust do you think we expect from France? This is their first race behind the wheel with the full fleet going full tilt.
I expected a lot of rust, if I'm perfectly honest with you, Todd, but the beauty of getting a good start is they've got a little bit of space, so the tempo of the race should be a bit lower when you're out in front because you're making your own decisions. Now, easier said than done when you've got the Australians who are at the absolute form boat right now chasing them down. But yeah, de la Pierre, I mean, he's a cool cat, isn't he? And he's come back. They look pretty good. Man on at the back there looking around, but there you go. I said it. There, the Swiss have found a nice gain. There seems to be more wind towards the bottom of our screen where New Zealand are heading right now, where Australia and France are heading. Great gain for Seb Schneider, and this is what the Swiss need.
As they get ready to approach gate number 3, we can check in down on the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, do you see favorable spots on the course, and how big of a factor will Shark Island be this weekend where it's situated?
Standing by. quite gusty here, going boarding 2.
Well, right now, Shark Island's not the problem. The problem is the wind hasn't decided what direction it wants to be. So where France, Australia, Spain are right now, that's where the wind is. So I think it's going to be to and fro all the way to the top gate. But yeah, it's a really tight racing in that top 4 right now. It's great to watch.
Yeah, well, that's right. He's very shifty out there. Good wind on the side that the Swiss are going to head back to. Interesting decision here for the Australians. Will they go towards the right turn? I think they will to minimise manoeuvres. France are going to split away. We're going to get 2 boats turning right, 2 turning left. Now, that extra manoeuvre is going to lose a bit of distance to the French in the short term, but how's it going to play out longer term? France head away. They're all looking for more wind.
Well, to Lisa's point, it looks like the Swiss and the French are going to be on more pressure on that side of the course, Stevie, as you see the Australians and Spain heading towards Shark Island. So the race really on here as we finish gate number 3. A lot of the fleet still coming in. And I wanted to go back and talk quickly, if we could, about the start. You saw the congestion in there with 11 boats. Remember, the USA is not sailing today. Craig Mitchell, chief umpire, had his hands full there, but no penalties on the start.
Well, there weren't any. It was just after the start, the Italians. It's always crucial. You've got to try and dominate the boat just downwind of you at the start. The Italians did that, pressing really close towards the Brazilian boat, but it's cost them. Look, they're back in 10th now. And yeah, I mean, the start's crucial, and those meters at that moment make a massive, massive difference. We see here the Swiss have extended away. Here we go, right of way with Spain, indicated by that green circle. France have to keep clear. Big dip behind, but they're now going to be back in some space. The Australians, though, oh, they just don't go away, do they? Relentlessly quick around the race course.
10 points to the winner of each race here. We've got 4 scheduled for today, and right now it is Sebastian Schneider and the Swiss who lead this race out in front. Australia tried to track them down. They sit in second. Then it's Spain and France really locked up almost dead even. And then Emirates GBR, your top 5.
Great camera angle here. So you see that dark patch coming down the course there through the middle. That's that little bit more wind. The French were in that. The Australians are now going to hit it. We should see them accelerate a little bit. Little check up. Australia are going to turn left. France are going to turn right. Last time that was good for Australia. Who's it going to be good for next? It's going to be about 30 seconds until we find out. But right now, the Swiss, well, it's a class act by that team right now. New Zealand back in the pack as well, Todd. Look at that, middle of our screen, 8th.
The 2 new teams, you've got Mubadala Brazil and Red Bull Italy holding down 10 and 11 right now. Germany getting all those season points docked because of incidents in practice yesterday. They sit in 9th place.
Go right away, Cannon, New Zealand, late manoeuvre. Those 2 teams are not going to be happy 7th and 8th in rate 1 here. We know that you can't really win it on day 1, but you can make it very, very hard for yourself. And an 8th in the first race would not be what Burling and co need. They need to find some overtakes on this upwind leg.
When you talk about this 4-race format on day number 1, Stevie, and you've always said you could have 1 bad race, you know, a race outside the top 5 or 6, but you cannot have 2.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, that'll start to change as the fleet gets harder. I mean, the Swiss now putting in a race win in race 1. Really good news for them. French back in the mix. It's hard to get that consistency, but it's what you need. Rolex chasing time shows that the Swiss are doing a nice job. Both boats sailing towards a different side of the course. Again, there's potential. As soon as the boats are a long way apart like this, we call it leverage on a race course. If you've got leverage, a small shift in the wind, a gust of wind, gives you that opportunity to make a gain. Lisa, we've got a big split on the race course at the moment. Do you think the Australians have got a good chance of gaining over the Swiss here?
Well, I actually think the Swiss are about to get hit by a really nice gust, so I think they will probably hold this lead. The gusts, they're quite small, but they are going into a good set of pressure right now. But Australia have closed the gap. It's always close out here in Sydney Harbour.
Close to the end of the race here, Todd. We've just got 2 legs to go, as short ones, and it's a close cross. Right of way, Switzerland. Australia dip behind, but it's a solid gain, and the Australians will have the right of way, and 2 boats come back together. Slingsby, he's putting on a latest charge here. What Schneider got to respond to it. Good wind shift for the Australians, nearly sailing straight up the ladder lines at the moment. They will have the right of way when they come back towards the Swiss.
And there was that extra maneuver that Seb Schneider and the Swiss had to put in. Now they drop back to 2nd place with Diego Botín and the Spaniards now closing in on them. So, Stevie, it's amazing. This is a large track out here, but it changes quickly, especially when you factor in the hometown Australians. We saw it in practice yesterday. Tom Slingsby, no lead is safe.
Yeah, well, he got a bit greedy. He thought he could get to gate 5 with no more turns. Then the wind changed direction. That meant he slowed up and he's opened the door for the Swiss. Bit of industrial language. Slingsby's annoyed with himself there. Think he chased that gate 5, and now the Spanish are going to be the ones turning right. It'll be Spain when the boats come together in 30 seconds time with the right of way, but can they find enough wind to close the gap on Australia and Switzerland?
So at gate number 5, it changes yet again as the Australians drop back to second place. Tom Slingsby, an uncharacteristic mistake there as he misjudged that gate. Had to make a final maneuver there, which is going to cost him a little bit of time. And now can he track down Seb Schneider and the Swiss?
Careful here, too low.
The Swiss have turned a bit close to the German, but they've judged it well. Oh, a bit of language on board the Australians. Tempo's high, home pressure. Here come the Spanish. They got the right of way here, but they have got one more manoeuvre to do. Schneider, does he think he's round? He needs to be sure he is. Spain are going to manoeuvre, but can they stick it in front of Australia? Oh, the Spanish have got too high. They pushed too wide. Surely that was too aggressive from Spain. He's absolutely forced it in on Australia. He needed to turn tight round that mark. Was it tight enough? I think it might have been.
And as they come to the line, race number 1 in Sydney will go the Swiss way. Seb Schneider and Switzerland take the first race here at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Spain will hold on for second, and it will be Australia finishing in third.
Well, that was an Emirates winning moment for the Swiss. What a moment it was, Todd. And it heard from the umpires, it was all clear by Spain, absolutely pushing it. Slingsby livid with himself there, but third place is a solid start. And what a return to SailGP. First time we've seen him this season, and the French get a fourth. Brilliant for De La Pierre and co. Fletcher, the ever-consistent Fletcher on Emirates Great Britain. Well, they're up to 5th. Not a bad start.
Rockwell, Denmark will round out the top 6, so a solid performance for them, not exactly what they were looking for. Canada, a nice showing there, mid-pack, they will finish in 7th place, and the Kiwis digging themselves an early hole. Remember, they won the first event of season 5, taking top honors in Dubai, and they come to Sydney looking for revenge on the Aussies who took the win in Auckland at their last event, and they will have to finish in 8th place.
2, 1, podium.
They're not going to be too happy with that one, Todd, I wouldn't have said. They're still not quite getting off the start line. They did find some space in that one. They put themselves in the mix. It's tight at the bottom here, but it's around the outside. Gained a place back. Germany, well, what a tough weekend. Minus 32 from 3 separate incidents yesterday. Had a little bit of damage, caused a little bit of damage. I think what we're seeing in SailGP at the moment is that experience. You know, the US team aren't racing, and I can only put that down from the feature we saw. Just a lack of experience, simple mistakes, not perhaps understanding how high performance, how delicate these boats are. You know, I wonder if some of these teams need to go out shopping for a bit more experience on them.
Red Bull Italy will finish in 9th, Germany in 10th. That means Brazil will come in 11th place, with the USA not competing because of the damage in practice yesterday. So a tough first race there for Martin Grail and Buildup Brazil, as they will finish dead last. As been reported by Lisa, plenty of wind, and I think, Stevie, that is something we've been looking forward to ever since season number 4. Put them in these kind of conditions, and these F50s will dazzle you.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty scary pictures of Billy Gooderham there. I mean, let's hope he's okay. And I think I've said this before, but when it's this kind of breeze, Todd, to finish first you must finish is what we've got to do. The guys have got to sail these boats round the course well. Here, Martini Grail on board Brazil comes diving on the inside with that Brazilian boat. This is going to be a baptism of fire for the 2 new teams, no doubt. Start line, right-hand side of our screen there. That blue triangle, that's the optimum place to be, but you just want to hit the line fast. Kiwis are late to the game here. They're coming into the bottom of the fleet. Will they find a gap at the bottom? I think they will. Spain look to wind it up. The pole predictor sits on board the Australians, and they have a nice gap. I love that position. This is going to be fast and frantic into Mark 1 from here. GBR currently favoured, but can they find a gap through the fleet? 4 seconds to go. Look for that line to turn right. The Australians are lit up. Wow. What a start by Slingsby. Can they handle the speed towards Mark 1? This is going to be frantic.
Just coming back on.
And they are almost 4 wide as they approach mark number 1. This is the first race of Super Sunday, and it is the Aussies who are leading, and they now take the whole shot.
Oh, what boat speed. Rockwool Denmark dive on the inside. They're going to put the bow. Oh, they nearly caught the bow then. The sprint leader, the Rolex sprint leader, lead at mark 1.
Penalty Italy relative Germany. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Italy there, they've got to keep clear of Germany being on the outside. The Kiwis a bit in the pack, but they have got control of their first decision here. What a shot this is. These manoeuvres are going to be hard. Can they drop the boards accurately to keep the boat smooth? Australia manoeuvre, and in the pack it's New Zealand. Early to move away from the fleet. They will overtake some boats coming down here.
Well, Stevie, if there was one team you did not want to get the whole shot and check out from the rest of the fleet, it's got to be the Australians. The way they sailed on day number 1, this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty clinical, and I mean, Slingsby just loves the breeze, doesn't he? Listen to how calm his voice is, despite the fact he's doing 82, 83 kilometres an hour into gate 2 here. New Zealand from back in the pack look to me like they could sneak round 3rd, and that race for the final is pretty crucial.
Gate number 2, the DP World Gate. Now this could get very sporty.
Pretty technical manoeuvre, turning the boats up here. These new T-foils there. You see the British boat, the front of it lifting high in the air. They're proving hard to control that pitch. Is Danish there, got the hull flying high. Left-hand side, Italy, first to manoeuvre away, and Spain, they've fallen off the foils. A mistake, both Botin and crew.
Germany gets a little loose as they opt for the right-hand side, still a little loose.
It's so dangerous. That turn up through the breeze is really, really hard there. As we can see right now, Emirates Great Britain, they're coming across fast.
It's windy, man.
Certainly is, Tom. It's looking windy, but they're looking smooth on board that Australian boat. Look at the fans on the shore. They're getting a close-up view of things here. And Australia, oh, wow. Take a look at the Spanish. Oh, they got very, very loose. They've been slow speed since the bottom there. They're struggling to control that boat at the moment.
Not a rookie outfit there. The Spanish, the defending champions from season 4, having their issues handling Mother Nature. SailGP powered by nature, and right now there's a lot of power, but out in front it is the Australians who lead the point total right now.
Oh, Lisa, it looks like the Australians have made a gain. Is one side of the course looking more favoured than the other?
Yeah, well, interestingly, I think the left-hand side, so where sort of New Zealand and Denmark are right now, that's flatter, but there is more breeze on the right-hand side. So I think if you can handle this short, sharp chop on the right-hand side, you are going to find more wind. So it's a bit of a balancing act out here, but they seem to be fairly in control.
And Lisa, any benefits to the new T-foils on these boats when the winds are this high?
I think they're all just learning how the forces work on this boat. We talk about cant, which is how wide the foils can go in, and that's really when you're doing those turn-ups where we saw everyone a bit out of control. You know, that's the new thing to learn how to manage the flight of that, and also when they're dropping the boards before a manoeuvre, that's a big extra force of lift, which is really throwing the flight controllers off.
All right, a lot of this is just about limiting your maneuvers, Stevie. You saw right there, Emirates GBR throwing in an extra maneuver, and Australia able to go straight in.
Yeah, they did, and look, it's tight in the pack here. Germany have made a big gain back on board New Zealand. New Zealand have to dip behind. High pressure move. Oh, and they're putting that water over the boat. The Kiwis aren't looking very fast at the moment. Plenty of work for the New Zealand team to do. They're still in the pack. Germany, they've had the rights on the inside. It's going to get messy for Brazil. Gate 3 is really tight.
Absolute signaler to the top of the course as the Brazilians get through, and watch the Swiss. They'll have to thread the needle behind Spain, which they barely get done.
Oh, nice manoeuvre there by Marcini Grail on board Brazil. It looks pretty calm. She'll be used to these from the 49er days. Respect that bear away as they do a great job. Rockwool Denmark in 3rd, chiding down in a moment. The Australians are off the foils, top of our screen there. They got too high. It's choppy on that side of the course is what Lisa told us. And have a look here. Foiling time, well, it was 89%, but Great Britain, they're moving away and they're looking well set for gate 4, but more importantly, they're keeping it foiling that little bit more than the Aussies.
So after a great start, it is now Emirates GBR, their driver, Dylan Fletcher, Olympic gold medalist, taking over for a legend in Ben Ainsley, and those are some big shoes to step into.
Oh, that was the voice of Ian Jensen there. Hit it, boys, hit it, boys. He's talking to the big grinders at the front there. I mean, they've got a huge bit of horsepower on that boat. Nick Hutton, They've got Neil Hunter up there, huge men at the front, pumping those handles round, doing a really great... Oh, it's getting loose on board Rockwool Denmark. They put the bow in, struggling to control these new T-foils. The German submarine. Wow, the bows of these boats are constantly underwater there. Germany get the wide on the round in there, Todd. Look at that. The possible course was right wound where Rockwool are. Denmark are just sliding inside. Germany cannot get it under control. Here come the Italians. They're out of control around here. Oh, it's taking some learning to do these new T-foils.
Talk about messy down at this last gate. You had Rockwool Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull Italy all having issues. Now Spain back in the mix as they have now moved up multiple positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all on here, isn't it? We talk about this, but it's a class race between these first two. Great Britain and Australia. At the moment, they look a class apart from the rest of the fleet. They're having a race, very much a match race between the two of them. Great Britain must keep clear here. Slingsby's not going to let Fletcher off the hook, and he really puts the clamps on him there. Advantage with Australia. It's going to be a lead change. Aussies are in the lead, and this would put Australia in a very strong position to the final as he's forced Great Britain off the foils.
Okay, very favoured.
He's talking here about which way does he want to go. He's saying right gate's favoured, so to turn right's going to save them a lot of distance, but he'd have to do two manoeuvres rather than just one for the left turn. It'll be interesting what Slingsby decides to do.
Big turn, Tash, big turn, big turn, big turn. Keep going, keep going.
And the communication as they transfer the sailors from one side to the other. So it's Australia back in front. Remember, they got the lead at the mark number 1, and then after a mistake, Emirates GBR took it over, and it looks like it's going to be a race in the final two legs. It's gate number 5. They'll go back to the bottom of the course, and then they'll finish right in front of the grandstand.
Coming up. Don't worry about them. All the way down. Big picture. Big picture.
Just trying
like that.
Yeah, well, finished first was finished. Dylan's done a bit of squad trading with me, and he's heard that line a few times before. Got to stay in your own boat and sail smooth. I think it's not necessarily how windy the top wind speed is. It's the fact that when these gust hits, imagine you've got a car, 200 horsepower car, and it's suddenly then got 500 horsepower. And that Spanish boat, well, they look like they couldn't control the power earlier on, but they're up to third, doing a great job through the fleet, and the Italians as well. Where are the Kiwis? Well, here come the black foils. Work to do if they want to be in today's final.
And once again, it is Peter Burling, the winners of the last event in Dubai, who had a terrible start, and they've worked their way all the way up to 5th. Don't be surprised if they end up in a top 3 position at the end of this race.
Yeah, look at that, Todd. Middle of our screen there. United States back in 9th place. They just seem to struggle with this full crew format. When there's 4 on the boat, they've done really, really well. I don't know if it's the extra decision maker coming on board the boat. Taylor perhaps likes to run things on his own. I don't know, but the USA at the moment are struggling when they get 6 on the boat.
The Americans did not have their best day yesterday with a 7th, a 6th, and then back-to-back 10th place finishes. So here we go to the final gate, and it will be the Australians. Remember, they won the last 2 races, or the last race in yesterday, winning race number 2. So this will be the second win for them out of 5 races as Tom Slingsby and the Australians bring it across. One more slight dip, and there will be your Emirates winning moment. Australia will win race number 5 here in Auckland.
Oh, and Emirates, Great Britain, they drop back to 2nd. They'll be happy with that in their race to the final. Their Emirates winning moment's pretty good, but back a picture. Red Bull Italy could be the story of the race. What a job they've done on board that boat, looking like 3rd at the moment. The black foils, oh, they know they've got such a sense of timing, that Kiwi crew. Can Burling keep that black foils on the foil, or will the Spanish get round? It will be the Spanish with the right of way if they can overlap. It's a sprint to the finish. This point will be crucial in the race for today's final.
3rd goes to Red Bull Italy as now the charge is on, and it looks like Peter Burling's going to hold that line.
Big manoeuvre by the Spanish. That's aggressive. That will have been protested towards Craig Mitchell, though. It'll be interesting what that way. I think the Kiwis kept clear.
Both kennels, just say stuck kennels.
Oh, did you see the crowd there? That's how I feel, to be perfectly honest. Heart in the mouth stuff coming into the finish there. United States, they come round in 9th. And Rockwool Denmark, well, they were up in 3rd for a moment, but they've dropped right down with that incident. Mistakes are so costly today, but they're easily found.
So Taylor Canfield and the Americans, they will check in top 10, but a 9th place finish. And unfortunately, Switzerland, the winners of race number 3, will finish dead last. Remember, Canada unable to go today, and we are missing France, so it becomes a 10-boat fleet race here for the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I imagine it's feeling pretty busy, even though there are only 10 out there at the moment. That little bit of extra space, probably quite handy. Switzerland, well, they really turned on the form yesterday afternoon. They did a great job of hitting the reset button, and they're going to need to do exactly that here, Todd, because a 10th in the first race is not the result they were looking for. So tight in the race to the final. The pressure's on. I think Great Britain and Australia are going to be in that final, and well, that's going to be a battle in itself.
68 seconds to go before the start of the last race of this event here in Sydney. So they get themselves into position in the start box, and this will be at the final 10 points up for grabs. And then after this race, only the top 3 teams on points will race for the event title. Stevie, it doesn't matter if you qualify in the last position to the final or the first. It's an even. All the scores are wiped away. But I'll tell you right now, this is going to be huge because there's 2 or 3 teams that are still in play. Emily's crunching the numbers, got the old abacus out as we come up on 35 seconds to go.
Yeah, well, bottom of the fleet here, we can see Canada and Denmark tied on a piece of string right next to each other. Very tight in the middle there. That was really tight. New Zealand at the bottom. France already up and foiling towards the top of our screen, but it's Rottwell, Denmark and Canada. Whoever beats whoever will make the final. New Zealand finds some space. Australia have space. It's all about timing right now, and De La Pierre, his sense of timing's really good. The French boat dives through the line here. All about acceleration. Eyes are on the middle there. Denmark, France, Canada. Who's got the timing right? Watch for the line to turn white. We go here, and it's a tight start. France have nailed it. Canada a little bit back, and the Rouge at the top of the line are going to drop the hammer. But who's going to get to Mark 1 first? Could be the Swiss if they can get that boat cranking over the top.
Here we go, mark number 1 of the final fleet race here at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix.
I don't think it's going to be impossible for Switzerland to make the final if they win and everyone else has a bad race. This is going to be a really tense race. Focus on your own boat, though. Switzerland need to set up for a good manoeuvre before gate 2.
So now the game begins as the Rolex sprint leader Switzerland decides they are going to force the issue. They turn away. Here we go. They've got Brazil to their left. They've got the Australians to the right. And the Aussies now, somehow, Stevie, have moved into first place.
Well, they've gone right around the outside, but Canada's the main mover. Middle of our screen there. They've got space. Giles Scott's managed to make a manoeuvre. He's potentially going to be ahead of France and Denmark. He'll come back with the right of way. Gate 2 is going to be like a traffic jam. How do you keep fast in and out here? Brazil have got to keep clear. France have got to keep clear. Oh my word, this is so tight. It's all going to come down to some quick fire maneuvers. Canada trying to get around the outside. Brazil. Oh, France, cat-like reactions from De La Pierre. What a moment. And Giles Scott, the door's opened. He's around the outside. Oh my lord, look at the pile up at the bottom here. And for Canada, this is amazingly good news because Rottwell, Denmark are stuck on the outside and France are off the foils.
To quote a famous announcer, you can't do that. But look at Giles Scott. He catapults himself into 3rd place. Meanwhile, it's Australia who have firmly ensconced into the final. And then the top of the screen, you can't see him right now, it is Switzerland in 1st.
Well, Switzerland are heading off to that favoured side of Shark Island. Okay, so that's Arno talking to Seb. He's saying, let's push all the way out. We expect the wind to rotate to the right, which will help us get up to gate 2, Australia. Slingsby seems to be reading the course beautifully, but look at this. Middle of the pack, it's tight, and it's all about the points.
And what that means for the race final is good news for Canada. Not only have they moved up or held their position in 3rd, but they've gained some massive space from the Danish and French, who are now battling at the back of the pack.
Tell you what, Canada might be one of the hottest teams as we approach this 3rd and final fleet race on day number 2, Stevie. They got a 4th in the first race of the day. They got a 2nd, and they're moving their way up now, currently in 4th, which, as Melanie pointed out, that would put them into the final.
Yeah, I think we've got pretty high expectations of Australia. They're still having a good day, even though it's maybe not perfect like yesterday. And actually right now, they're going to make a potential overtake on the Swiss here. Switzerland, 2 more manoeuvres to do, one of which they're doing now. Australia set up, that's their last manoeuvre, and they will have the right of way with the Swiss here. So crucial moment in the race for Switzerland, but it's the race to the final, and Canada, top of our screen, are trying to keep it simple. They've got a decent lead over Rottwell, Denmark at the moment. We're halfway through this race, Todd.
Okay, no problem. Straight. Don't worry about him. He's going fast. Fine. First a bit. Yeah.
Hear the voice on board Switzerland. That is Sebastian Snyder, their driver. North Star Canada's driver, Giles Scott, who was with
the umpires. Penalty Switzerland. Relative Australia. Port tack boat not keeping clear.
Poor time to do that as we take a look inside our Emirates umpire studio. Chief umpire Craig Mitchell on the right side of your screen doling out the penalty. As I was just about to say, North Star Canada and their driver Giles Scott, who drove for Emirates GBR last year, taking over for the legend Ben Ainsley. Giles Scott, a two-time Olympic gold in the Finn class. So Stevie, he's no stranger here as Australia now has taken over that lead. First place for the Aussies, and this is just a tune-up for the final.
Well, that's right. I mean, it is. It's all on, isn't it? And there's so much talent in the fleet, as we know. But the crucial battle is middle of our screen there. 4th place Canada, 6th place Denmark. Denmark only need to overtake Canada to make the final. So there is a lot of race left here. We can see New Zealand are going to try and turn right. They're getting really slow on that New Zealand boat there. They're going to hope to go back to more wind, but they're taking a big loss to make that happen. I think that's a bad choice by the New Zealand boat at the moment. As Rockwool Denmark come round the gate, they're going to be chasing down the Canadians, but in the moment, it's in Canada's hands.
Right now, Canada's best friend has got to be Peter Burling and the Kiwis, hoping that they find some breeze on the left side of that course, that they can keep a buffer between them and the Danes, as it looks like Rockwool Denmark and Nikolai Sehested know exactly what they need to do. They need to somehow find a way to track down Giles Scott, who is right in front of them by about 220 meters.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand are sailing back into good wind to that side of the island. They're bottom of our screen. Rockwool Denmark are going okay, but they've got plenty of work to do. As at the moment we see the Germans, well, they're making a move here. They've done a lovely job on this downwind leg, potentially going right round the outside of the Swiss. Magic work by Germany. They've really found some boat speed out there on the race course. Australia, though, off the screen, heading away. And in terms of confidence for the final, you can't get any better than winning the last race in dominant fashion. One more upwind leg to go here, Todd. It's now or never for Denmark.
Well, the good news is it has thinned out just a little bit at the bottom of the course, not like we saw last time at the DP World Gate. It will be Australia coming through. They're going to opt for the right-hand side. They'll turn there. And then Germany, Deutsche Bank sitting in 2nd place. Steve, it looks like they've got the line. They should be able to make this.
Yeah, problem here for the Danish. They've got to keep out of the way of New Zealand. That's going to slow them down. Good news again for Canada.
Yep.
New Zealand really playing spoiler here for the Danish crew. As we can see, Switzerland turn left. They're looking for that Hail Mary move, but Giles Scott on board the North Star Canada team. Right turn. Keep it simple. One more upwind leg to go for the Canadians. They've got to stay ahead of Denmark.
And the Kiwis forced the Danes in not one, but 2 extra maneuvers. And look at now, they are off the foils. Oh, this is just tragic for Rockwool Denmark.
Well, they are, but they're heading out to space. You've got to expect a manoeuvre very soon for Canada. The last thing you want, there you go. Canada's already turned and heading that direction. For Canada, you want to stay on a similar side of the course to the Danish right now to minimise the opportunity for a big turnaround.
Gives us a good opportunity to go down on the course here in race number 7 as we get to the waning moments of this before the event final. Check in with Lisa. Lisa, you said its course is changing drastically. What are you seeing now?
Well, to be honest, Todd, I was going to say that the wind had died overall, but I think it's just getting more patchy out here. We have more clouds over the racetrack. Some teams are falling out off the foils in the manoeuvres. The gusts, they're really thin, so you really have to pick your moment and link them all together out here. It's getting harder as the day goes on, to be honest.
Stevie, you talk about what Lisa's reporting there. I mean, just as Emily likes to say, snakes and ladders out there. There's holes, literally holes in the course where there's just no power.
Yeah, I mean, if you analogize it to a car race, it's like you could potentially, if you find yourself in a gust of wind, you've got a car that's got 500 horsepower. If you find yourself in no wind, you're driving a car that's only got 250 horsepower. It's so hard. If you don't find the maximum potential power from Mother Nature out there with the breeze on the racecourse, you're just not going to be able to get the most speed. And as soon as that difference is big, makes a huge difference in the whole race. But right now, Australia seem to be pretty perfect with it. It's also forcing the teams into slightly more manoeuvres on the racecourse. So how well those crews execute them are now absolutely crucial. Rockwool Denmark struggling to make it round Shark Island. They're at the top of our screen. Canada, it's in their grasp at the moment. Can the Canadians keep themselves out of trouble to get to the finish?
I'll be stand by.
So New Zealand goes behind North Star Canada. They drop into that position, and that is a nice buffer for Giles Scott and North Star Canada to have the Kiwis back there kind of watching their six. It is still Australia as they approach this final gate with Switzerland in second, Germany, Deutsche Bank in third, and then the Canadians in fourth.
Nice angle. Bearing away in 5, slow 1, and 3, 2, 1, coming down.
It's going to take something pretty special to go wrong for the Canadians here for Rockwool Denmark to have a chance. It looks like it's going to be Canada joining Great Britain and Australia in the final. And I think when we start thinking about the final, Todd, we always talk about momentum. Canada are sailing well today. Australia have been the form boat, but I thought Britain were going to be their main challengers. They seem to have lost a little bit of edge in these last couple of races. Are they keeping their powder dry, or are they just struggling with these changing conditions? Right now, Canada, well, they're well set, but they've got themselves a problem in New Zealand. You've got to keep it simple here. Don't be at all surprised to see Canada to go a little bit safe, maybe an overtake with New Zealand, but keep yourself out of trouble. Last thing they need is an infringement right now.
So Canada can let New Zealand get past them. That's not where the damage would be done. It's if Denmark, Rockwool Denmark, can catch them and overtake them. So to Stevie's point, it looks like North Star Canada is going to play this one safe. And as we flash forward to the finish line, the fans on Shark Island, they're happy because the hometown Roos have won again. It's another victory for Australia, their third out of 7 races.
Going board in 2.
The Swiss come through in second place. So Stevie, they started off this whole event with a win in race number 1. They finished race number 7. They come up short of making the final, but they finished in second. And for Germany, it's third. And Canada does hold off the Kiwis, so they will finish in fourth, and that should lock them up into the final.
That's a good day of fighting, guys. Let's finish it off. Let's snake it. Behind. Yeah, we Swiss as well in front. All those in front. Coming down in 3, 2.
And unfortunately for Nikolai Sehested and that talented crew, Rockwool Denmark, it's just a little bit short. They're going to miss out by about 3 points.
And board.
And the team that kind of kept their head down, Stevie, and out of trouble, Emirates GBR, they did enough in the first 6 races. They could afford a 7th. We always talk about you can have one bad race, something out of the top 6. Well, this was theirs. Damage was already done. They were already in.
Yeah, I mean, they've sailed really, really well. I mean, as of the French, welcome back to SailGP.
Yes.
I mean, they'll be disappointed not making the final, but they've shown the potential they've got. I think for the Spanish, they're going to be disappointed with this event. But yeah, Emirates Great Britain, I do agree, but I just think they'd have wanted to lay a few more punches on that Australian boat in these couple of races before the final. Get Slingsby a bit worried, a bit nervous, and I think all that's happened is probably, we know what a confident sailor Tom Slingsby is, and to go into the final having just won the race, all I would say for Tom is he's not been as perfect with his starting today as he was yesterday, so that's again probably a worry for the rest of the fleet. Another area they can be better going ahead.
Everyone wants to know who's in, who's on the fringe of getting in, and where does New Zealand sit right now?
So Australia are definitely through. GBR are pretty much all but confirmed. Spain, though, they've got to do some work to secure their position, because the Kiwis, if they come 3 positions ahead of the Spanish, they could see themselves go through into the final. So for Kiwi fans out there, it's not over yet.
So really, we got a case of musical chairs. There are only 3 chairs available, but 4 people dancing. And Stevie, this will be interesting after this next 30 seconds. Who hits mark number 1 first? And can the Kiwis go full hocus pocus and pull off another come-from-behind win?
Yeah, well, they're better positioned at the moment, but they've got the Rebuttal of Brazil in their way towards the top of our screen. New Zealand are slightly out the back. They will have a chance. The Rolex pole predictor sits on the Spanish at the moment, but they're really stuck in the pack. It's going to be hard. I like where the USA are at the moment. Rockwool Denmark looping around the outside. They're not out of the mix for the final here either. Brazil are early back to the line. New Zealand are going to be struggling to accelerate. The whole fleet's close to the line. Who's going to get the whole shot here? Clear start there, good start, and it's brilliant at the bottom of the line from Rockwool Denmark. They're going to be blasting into Mark 1. Can they hold on the fast-charging Roos above them? I think they will. And the Italians line it up. Red Bull Italy coming in fast. Here they go. It's all happening into Mark 1, and the New Zealander out the back. It's going to need a miracle for Burling & Co. from here.
4 wide at mark number 1 in the final fleet race of the day, with points up for grab and everyone scrapping for a spot at the table.
Oh, the Rolex sprint leader Denmark, they're setting up for the maneuver, and I think as it stands right now, it'd be Rockwool Denmark with that place in the final. Brilliant from Sehested.
Good, TJ. You're good now. Slow turn. Down track. It's jumping heaps.
Oh, look at that. The boats are all over the place through that first manoeuvre. Great save. And Germany get loose, left-hand side of our screen. New Zealand are in the pack, close to the Spanish, and both those boats have got a lot of overtaking to do if they've got any hope of making the final.
Great communication on board Rockwell, Denmark. Nikolai Sehested talking to TJ. Tom Johnson, who is the wing trimmer. And here we go as they come in to gate number 2, the DP World Gate. It's Rockwell, Denmark, Red Bull, Italy, and here come the Aussies.
3, 2, 1, turning up. Going down and turning up.
This has been the tricky rounding. Australia just on the inside. Controlled though, I think. Can Australia keep the boat smooth? Smooth rounding, and they're faster on board Australia. Those first 3 around clean. Nice job there. New Zealand are slow and on the inside, back in the pack.
Got a turn. And turning.
Oh, look at that view for the fans there, Todd. There's thousands in that grandstand, and they're getting the boats pretty much in their laps.
The big key right now, you've got Spain currently sitting in 4th with New Zealand in 7th. They need to turn that around, the Black Foils do, if they want any shot at the final.
Future wind here.
Really messy out there on the race course at the moment. Germany are out of the water. New Zealand need to be ahead of Denmark if we're going to get anything here in this race to the final. Remember, a tie break's decided by whoever's ahead in the last race.
Good angle.
And the race to final is so hectic at the moment. Australia clear ahead, but Spain and Great Britain tied on 47 points. The Danish on 46. It is going to be a who beats who.
Well, Emirates Great Britain could lose out on the final from nowhere here if they can't start overtaking some boats. Right-hand side of our screen, they're in a tight incident with the United States. Didn't look like they saw each other there. That all happened a bit late. It's slow.
Oh, look at this!
Dylan Fletcher asking the questions there. There's a port tack boat keeping clear, so USA get a penalty, but that's already alleviated as they're a long way behind. That's the Emirates umpire studio there. Chief umpire Craig Mitchell closest to camera. He's making the tough calls out there on the water, but at the moment no tough calls are required to get happening for that Danish crew. But the United States, they are struggling here. Not sure who didn't see. Strategists maybe not quite spotting the British boat.
And Italy picks up
This
a
is the
penalty.
umpires. Penalty, Italy, relative Spain, port tack boat not keeping clear.
Oh, big
That's
mistake.
going to help Spain and hurt New Zealand.
They need to drop back here. Spain are losing places quickly. New Zealand are up to 4th. New Zealand are up to 4th, but they've got to catch Rockwell, Denmark if they've got a hope of getting the final. If they finish behind Rockwell, Denmark, they'll be tied on points, but that would put Rockwell through. So New Zealand, desperate times for the Kiwis, potentially needs a mistake for the Danish right now, but New Zealand could be right up the fleet here.
Stay high. Get heavy.
Oh, there's going to be a protest there. Don't be surprised if there's a penalty for New Zealand relative Spain there. It's really tight in the pack, and out in front, the Danish are moving away nicely. Australia are stopping there, Todd. They've
Oh, and the Aussies
retired
have
from
pulled
the
off.
race, I believe. Oh, wow, I hope they've not had boat damage. What a disaster that would be. They're already in the final, but of course, it doesn't matter if the boat's not working properly. That
This is like the cable slack. Everything working, but
Oh, he's not happy there. It's not quite right. Seems to be taking a chance to fix the boat. That's maturity right there.
Well, it's a smart move then, probably, Stevie, because then you get the short crew on board and start working on it now while the race is going on.
100%. A real sign of the maturity that you expect from that Australian crew. As we see New Zealand here, potentially up to 2nd. I mean, they've got the bit between their teeth, but they've got to get ahead of that Danish boat if they want to make the final. So it's going to require a mistake from the Danish to give the Kiwis a chance. Sehested sailing a faultless race at the moment, somehow burling up to 2nd right now, I'd say. Unbelievable for the New Zealand crew. What a comeback.
right phase here.
So the Danes cleanly around that gate. Gate number 4, they'll make their way up the course, then back down, and then the left-hand turn. Keep an eye on New Zealand. It's New Zealand and Brazil coming together, center of the screen right now.
And that's a reminder there of the point scenario at the moment. So the Kiwis haven't quite done enough to see themselves into the final, but they have sailed from 10th into 3rd.
Yeah, but even if they overtake and get to 2nd, they'll be tied on points, but it's Rockwell, Denmark that will make the final because the tie break's decided by the last race. Brazil, it's loose. Tilly missed the mark at the top of our screen there. It's all happening back in the pack. Absolute chaos out there on the water. Emirates, Great Britain 6th. They can't afford to lose many places on board that British boat either right now. Otherwise, they're going to have a problem with the New Zealand crew. It's really, really tight here. It's going to come down to mistakes if the Black Foils want to make the final, though.
Denmark in the lead, New Zealand in second.
Lisa, what can you see on the water? Is there any chance for the Kiwis of getting away round the Danish, do you see?
Spain's winding out, 20 away.
I don't think so at all. The Danish, they're sailing really well. They're looking really in control around the whole racetrack, and they're legging out. You know, the Kiwis did quite a good shift up the first beat, but they're sort of following them now. So unless there's a big foil out, which we've seen plenty, I think Rockwool's got this locked down.
So 300 meters is the lead for Rockwool Denmark. They have the lead. Stevie's mentioned about it. Emily's talked about it. New Zealand needs to get past Rockwool Denmark, and there you see the distance, and they only have 2 legs to get that done.
And turning.
Oh, it's all happening here. I think right now the Kiwis are just praying for a mistake from Britain.
It's getting flatter and a little lighter today. Roll through.
Yeah, well, the water does look a bit flatter. I think the current's dropping off a little bit and changing, and that's meaning that it's not fighting the wind as much, so the sea state's smoothed out a bit here.
We're getting softer in 3, 2, 1, softer now. Turning away in 5, hard puff in 2.
There we go, here's those points.
And there's the latest. With Australia out of this race, it does mix the points up again. So Spain and Great Britain currently tied on 48 points. The Danish, though, 46, not currently enough for them to get through.
Emily, let me ask you a procedural question. If Australia had boat damage they could not repair in time for the final, does that move Denmark into the final, taking Australia's spot?
It would, but let's not jinx anything just yet.
Just checking. So here we go. They're heading back down. It's Denmark out in front. Massive lead over New Zealand. The Black Foils certainly don't want to disappoint the sold-out crowd here in Auckland as SailGP comes to the City of Sails for the very first time.
Well, it's just a huge comeback by the Spanish. They've absolutely nailed that upwind leg. They've made a massive gain. They're up to 3rd. That makes it basically impossible for the Kiwis from here to hope to make the final. What a race this has been. It's been an amazing comeback for the New Zealand crew, but they just cannot do anything about the perfect Severstead.
And it always helps when your Emirates fly time is 97%. When they need it the most, Rockwool Denmark was the cleanest, Stevie, and they have been near flawless here on this 7th fleet race.
Turning up in
Yeah, so deserved. Great start, and they've just been clinical since then.
1, turning up.
Going to take this one nice and wide as they will come across. They'll get a big ovation from the fans, but that partisan New Zealand crowd, they certainly would rather have seen the Black Foils come in here to put themselves in the final. But 2 races and 2 wins.
Job, guys. Beautiful job.
Nikolai Sehested, exactly that. A beautiful job. Moments ago, he told us they're just sailing their own race, but they do get the Emirates winning moment 2 races in a row.
Wow, what a confidence booster that'll be. New Zealand there up to 2nd, but as we say, Spain, I think, doing enough at the moment to make their way through to the final. Emirates Great Britain should be looking good for that as well. Great comeback for New Zealand, but they just haven't started well enough this weekend. Simple facts, they've not got off the start line, unfortunately for them.
Look at New Zealand's report card. They started the week off with a 4th place, then an 8th place finish, up to a 6th. And then, of course, they had that big win in race number 4, but just not enough points for them. Spain will come across the line in 3rd with Switzerland in 4th.
Brilliant comeback for Diego Botín and crew. They were struggling early on in the race. In fact, halfway through the race, they were still struggling, but they found that little left-hand wind shift that Lisa's been telling us about, made a big gain, and it's going to be Emirates Great Britain will be the 3rd boat in the final as well. Good, solid weekend for the British, and they'll fancy their chances. So all eyes turn to that Australian boat now, Todd. Is there anything wrong with it?
Dylan Fletcher and that very talented Emirates GBR squad coming across in 6th. That's enough to put them in. And now everyone fighting for these final points. You want to go out on a high, and we've got ourselves a little drag race. USA and the Italians getting together as they come to the line here in Auckland.
Yeah, the USA need to keep clear.
Not going to get off.
So it's Denmark that gets the win in race number 7 as they punch their ticket. New Zealand will take 2nd, and it'll be Spain in 3rd. But now the grand final is set. All eyes on that Australian boat. Can they go or not?
4 or 5 past there.
1 minute to go until the final is off the line here at the Rolex SailGP Championship in Sydney. This is the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix. And Stevie, tell you what, Tom Slingsby is probably the hottest sailor. They have done the best over the last 7 races. But I'm telling you what, Dylan Fletcher and Giles Scott just lurking in the grass, just waiting to pounce.
Well, that's right, the Australians will have a plan. But this is a race course where a plan's not really as good as it gets. That first contact with your enemy out here. Fletcher, he's coming for a late run at things here. I like where the Australians are positioned, but they're into a battle with Canada already. Dylan Fletcher's got the chance to play spoiler here. He's got to keep some space. Canada and Australia, oh, it's really tight there. Australia have got to keep clear. They're in a real fight with 16 seconds to go. Boat's going to fill up. This is opening the gap here for Fletcher. He's coming through fast. Middle of the line's the favoured place to be. 9 seconds to go. Britain are calling themselves late. 5 seconds, watching for the line to turn white. It's timing that counts right now. Oh, what a start. Fletcher's at absolute speed. On the inside, it's Canada. I think Emirates Great Britain are going to be able to lead at Mark 1 here.
Penalty Australia, relative Canada. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Slingsby's going to have to fight back from 3rd here. He's going to have to be last round Mark 1, and then it's going to be a fight back. But for Emirates Great Britain, the ball's in their court.
So at mark number 1 here in the final, it's Emirates GBR with the lead. Canada in 2nd, and the hometown favorites, Australia, will sit in 3rd. But Stevie, what a move by Tom Slingsby. Didn't pull us wide, he just went wide, and now he's back up to speed.
Yeah, he just did it wide. He's a bit of extra experience out there, and he nailed that manoeuvre, but it's all about being smooth on board Emirates Great Britain. They're going to be into gate 2 with no more manoeuvres, but what's the choice? Do they go straight and take a left turn? It looks like Canada might make it down and cut the corner. Big overlay by Emirates Great Britain. Canada have seen a wind shift. Looks to me like it's a lead change. Canada are going to lead at gate 2. Australia could be straight back to 2nd. Mistake by Emirates Great Britain.
At gate number 2, the DP World Gate, it is North Star Canada, Giles Scott, that will lead. And then it's Emirates GBR, and Tom Slingsby rolls the dice. He opts for the other side. He loves to stay away from his competitors.
Well, yeah, he saw the chance to follow Canada, but he would have been slow. So what Slingsby's doing, he's trying to find some space. He's looking at the breeze, and at the moment it looks like he's on a nice wind shift up the course, where you expect to see him manoeuvre quite soon and head to the right-hand side of Shark Island. That's been the classic move. Lisa, how's it looking out there on the racetrack? Which side of Shark Island are you going? Oh, big tacking error.
I still think the right-hand side is strong, but where Australia have tacked, they're in plenty of pressure. Obviously, that manoeuvre was a little bit wobbly, but because they nailed that, they're going to be in an okay position, but it's going to be a fight all the way to the end here with GBR tacking in front.
Oh, big cover manoeuvre there, Todd. These two are already in a fight, and that only means good news for Canada. Look here on our Oracle Cloud, big gains to Canada.
They might try and split the other side of the island. What do you think if they do that? Going straight here. Are we happy with that?
Well, it's a 300-metre lead. What he's saying there is, what do we do if we split? If it's gusty and shifty like this, it's very simple. You have to sail what you're in. Control the controllable. All you can do is say where you think you see wind, go and find that breeze. If Australia gets lucky on the left-hand side of Shark Island, so be it. Do what you think right, Giles.
Well, Giles Scott and North Star Canada had to fight their way into that final, getting past Denmark. He's conferring with Annie Hager, Paul Campbell-James to see exactly where they're going to go. And there it is. Stevie referred to it as a roundabout. Shark Island right in the middle of the course. And Canada is out in front by more than 150 meters.
Here we go. This is in the pre-start here, and that was nearly with 20 seconds to go. Australia just pushed down across Canada, got too close. That was where that penalty came from. Canada turned the boat up into the breeze, had to keep clear. They filled the boat up, which will have hurt them, but right now it's a massive lead. As we come back on board, there's spray of water all over the Canadian boats. It's going to be champagne over that Canadian boat if they can hang on to this lead. Look at that, 150-metre lead over Great Britain. Right-hand side of screen, Australia, where they've found no luck on that side of Shark Island. Slingsby's going to need a miracle from here, and the Canadians, North Star Canada, what a season 5 moment for them this could be. Halfway through the race, Todd, 1 down, 1 up, and then the sprint to the finish is all that stands between them and victory here in Sydney.
I'm not sure they're laying anyway that turn. No. Going away in 3,
That's Hannah Mills talking about the Australians, saying they're not really a threat at the moment. We've got big gaps opened up here. With Great Britain coming and engaging with Australia, they've really potentially given an unassailable lead to the Canadians. It's going to be so hard to find a way back through. If Australia have got a simple choice here. Do they follow? If they do follow, it's very hard to overtake.
From here, bud.
You hear the frustration in the voices on board Australia. They looked so good coming into this race as they win race number 7 to put themselves in the top position, but those scores wiped away, and all 3 teams, apologies for the salty language, but they come around and now they find themselves firmly ensconced in 3rd as they look up the track, and it is Canada way out in front. North Star Canada, the last time Canada won an event at SailGP, Stevie, you've got to go back to season 3, that's 2023, and for Giles Scott, you go back to last year, that's when he was driving for Emirates GBR, and that's when he made his debut winning in Halifax.
Oh, and don't underestimate the fact there will be a bit of niggle between Giles Scott and Dylan Fletcher. They've swapped roles there. You know, we don't know what exactly went on with that Emirates Great Britain. Obviously, of course, a fantastic opportunity for Giles to come and sail for Canada and represent them, which I know he's very proud to be doing. But him and Dylan, you know, they've been rivals for positions in British teams a lot. This will mean an awful lot to Giles right now if he can hang on. And yeah, huge for North Star Canada's season, huge for the new ownership. So here we go. Upwind leg to go, 3 legs to go.
That's faster. 23 to boundary.
And Stevie, it's one of those situations where if you were coaching them, you would probably just say, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You have a massive lead. Don't let the pressure come to you and make a silly mistake.
Yeah, and you've got to focus in on your manoeuvre, so do the next right move. That's what's key at this point here. Where's their wind? That's the first thing. If I've got more wind, I can keep going fast. Now, I'm surprised they didn't turn a little bit sooner. As soon as they saw Great Britain were about to turn left, I'm surprised Canada didn't turn. They've given about 50 metres extra leverage than they needed to, but left-hand side of our screen, there is good wind.
Get to lay and see if there's an option to split.
Well, that's there, Hannah talking about the downwind leg. They get to a point where they can either turn right or left, and then they take a call off Canada. At that point, we're not going to follow Canada. If we follow Canada, then the only hope is that they make a mistake. By splitting, they give themselves a shot. I'm surprised Canada didn't manoeuvre sooner after that gate to cover off Great Britain. There is now an opportunity. When the boats come back together, Great Britain are going to have the right of way.
Right now, Great Britain has the lead. Emirates GBR has found the speed on that side of the course. Look at the difference, 66 kilometers an hour as opposed to North Star Canada, closer to the 55, 56 kilometers an hour.
Advantage Great Britain here. They need a good manoeuvre.
Pressing a little, yeah, good angle.
Oh, it was pretty much perfect. Here we go. I think they're going to make... Oh, it's a huge lead change. But Great Britain say they're not laying. They're expecting to have to manoeuvre more. Potentially, North Star Canada can do it with just one more manoeuvre. Mother Nature could have one final say in this. There's the ley line. That's the position that says Canada will make it with no more manoeuvres.
And then you have to factor in Shark Island and what the wind is going to do there. So let's quickly go down in the water, check in with Lisa. Lisa, on leg 5 of 7, you see what's left. What are you seeing as far as wind, and whose position do you like better?
I'm a bit worried about Emirates Great Britain now. They are in quite a lot of light pressure, so it is going to be difficult for them. But the wind at this moment, it's just coming over the land, and I think they're just going to get this riding now that as I'm watching it, and they may make it.
I think they need to make it. I think they need to make it here if they can. They've got to watch out for that little mark in the water there, but it's all about making gate 5 with no more manoeuvres for Great Britain. I think they're going to do enough. Canada will be quicker.
Look at the gap that Australia has closed. Don't count them out just yet as they come in. Look at the speed differences, and it is Emirates GBR right now out in front.
All to gain here, guys. Nothing to lose. Let's go for it.
Oh, I love the attitude.
Right of way is with Great Britain. They are allowed to do a couple of manoeuvres if they need to, but they've got to keep the speed. I think they're going to be okay. They've crept round ahead of him. Huge moment. Can they re-accelerate? I think they can. They're just one turn away here. purely about a minute's racing left. I don't see what Canada can do from here.
6-second lead, it's all it is, and they will make their way up to mark number 6. Can they hold on to that lead? Dylan Fletcher and company, they've got the lead. Here comes the speed, though. Look at Dylan, look at Giles Scott. They're starting to pick up a little speed.
Potentially 2 more manoeuvres. It looks like it's hard to get there. First to move Canada, that's a good call. Force extra manoeuvres into the British boat. Try and force the error. No errors so far. Send it fast. 2 more manoeuvres for both boats.
Right. Rolling away. Rolling away, mate. We'll get there.
Oh, I think the British are going to try and make it with no more manoeuvres. Oh, Hannah Mills there. Calm voice. Good time for a calm voice, that was.
Well, Giles Scott, you saw what he was trying to do there, Stevie. He rolled the dice. It didn't come up Yahtzee for him. And just like that, the smallest of margins, it is Hannah Mills and Dylan Fletcher that get around that final mark. And now it is a straight shot to glory land. Emirates GBR, they've been in the final for the last 2 events, and they make the 3rd final in a row. And the Emirates winning moment goes to Emirates GBR. They take the win in Sydney.
Oh, that was some race. And they set it up at the bottom, didn't they? Get to ley line, and let's see if we get the chance to split. They certainly did, and have some of that indeed. That's 3 podiums from 3 starts for Dylan Fletcher on his comeback to SailGP. What a performance. Tough pill to swallow for Australia.
And it's a tough one for Australia. The winners of the last event in Auckland, New Zealand. They came here, Stevie, looked so good on practice day. They looked great on day number 1, looked great on day number 2, and it came down to that last race. Got entangled with Emirates GBR. Emirates GBR, we just had a moment to get to know Dylan Fletcher, the Olympic gold medalist driver, stepping in for Sir Ben Ainsley. There's the rest of the crew. Stevie, there's a lot of Olympic hardware on there with Hannah Mills, the GOAT, with 2 gold medals of her own.
Yeah, she'll enjoy these shifty conditions, but I think it was Neil Hunter and Nick Hutton I'd have my eyes on there. Big grinders, a lot of horsepower, means they can get a very quick wing movement.
Heavy hitters across the board here as we take a look at Australia. Remember, they won 3 seasons in a row of SailGP, and across the board with the addition of Chris Draper, that's a powerful squad.
Yeah, I think Chris Draper's slotted in really well. And Tash Bryant, you know, she really loves these windy conditions. And on any foiling boat, she's pretty good. But again, Sam Newton up in the front there. Him and Kinley Fowler really bring that big horsepower into the grinding setup. So I think that boat speed, we shouldn't underestimate the fitness of the grinders, how important they are. 42 seconds to go. Well positioned is Dylan Fletcher for that optimum spot on the start line. The red start line there, the blue triangle's where they'll be wanting to hit. But all they'll want's boat speed. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on board Slingsby's Australian boat with 25 seconds to go. All the boats are well spread out here. It's all going to come down to acceleration, execution from here. Australia first to turn the boat towards the line. Emirates Great Britain, well, 150 metres back with 15 seconds to go. Now they start to wind it up. 12 seconds to go. Spain late to turn. They attack Fletcher on board Emirates Great Britain. Tom Slingsby winds it up. Here come the Aussies. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? Oh, it's perfect from Fletcher, it's perfect from Slingsby, but Slingsby's got the faster angle into Mark 1, and can he break the overlap? I think he will. They're absolutely flying on board Australia here.
Oh, and Dylan Fletcher goes right at him.
Oh, it's going to be a protest there. That's tight. I think the Australians have kept clear. Spain are tight on the inside, and Australia are going to lead around Mark 1 just with Emirates Great Britain in control tactically.
And the Rolex sprint leader, Australia, they have been serving up a master class on the waters here in Auckland.
They're close to the boundary here. It's going to come down to execution. The British boat has a slight wobble on that first manoeuvre. They're off the foil on board Great Britain. That's a disaster for the British. At this level, you cannot make that mistake. Spain have executed well. Australia have executed well. And Emirates Great Britain are going to be out the back.
Stevie, we've seen this movie before when you've got teams like Emirates GBR in Australia doing battle, and that lets the Spanish and Diego Botín slide back into the picture. They were in 3rd at mark number 1, and now they are looking very good, just 100 meters behind the Aussies.
Yeah, but 100 meters at this stage of the race is a lot, and this Australian boat's been the form team. Spain will be set up to go right. Slingsby's going to match that. Fletcher's got to find something from here. I think now it's a case of, does that Australian boat, whatever that little gremlin was, has it cleared up? Does Slingsby feel confident, because the Australians are in pole position at gate 2, and all the other boats are going to be following them, which is absolutely perfect for them.
No surprise here, the Australians won 2 of the 7 fleet races to get to this point, but to Stevie's point, race number 7, they retired after only 2 legs, reporting problems on board. Looks like the short crew did a great job getting them back and running here in the final.
Yeah, well, let's remember there's $400,000 up for the winner of this race, Todd. So there's plenty of motivation beyond just the overall points. Professional athletes they may be, but they'll still love that prize money. And it's going to come down to the really strong execution. Nice turn there. They tack the boat through the wind. Brilliantly executed. Boat already heeled on top of them there. Draper, the wing trimmer, well, he slotted into this team so well. Absolutely seamless. And the Spanish are catching, but Australia, great controlling position at this point.
Emirates GBR dropping back to 3rd after that little skirmish with Tom Slingsby and the Australians. So now it's a match race within 100 meters between the 3-time champions, Australia, and the Spanish, going 1 and 2. Winner takes all here.
There we go, our Rolex chasing time shows they're just 7 seconds in it. They're really tied together here. See the different colours on the water there, Todd, the different textures to it. Shows there's really variable wind out there. Australia sailing into a lot of breeze right now and expect to see them start accelerating. Draper says a header, that means it's taking them away from the mark, which strategically will be good news for them. Spain are going to lose a few metres to the Aussies here. Look at the speed difference as Australia hit that gust of wind.
Good angle, good angle.
Oh, that was a bit messy, that manoeuvre there. They didn't quite get that right. Good enough. Draper's happy.
Like a lolling header on the nose where you ain't their best early. Yeah, copy.
Flight controller Jason Waterhouse crosses over, and now the entire team on the right-hand side.
It's very calm on board, isn't it? Real calming voice from Chris Draper there. A lot of experience as a wing trimmer. Stepped away to do a bit of coaching last season, but Slingsby snapped him up when he heard he was free and he'd lost Carl Langford, and well, what a signing that seems to be right now.
At the bill. Nice, clean lap, you guys.
That's really all they need right now, Todd. Clean lap, just got to stay away. Over 200 metres ahead here, and let's be honest, they look faster, don't they? Spanish are doing a nice job. Great Britain struggling to find much option to get back in the race, and the Australians, well, it's theirs to lose from here.
So it's down, back up, and down again before the finish of this event final, and now it is Australia starting to pull away here on leg number 4.
Bingo. Nice angle touch.
Tash Bryant on the wheel now, steering out of that manoeuvre. Brilliant form from the Australians. 100% fly time. Look at that on the top of their wing, and they're just executing the best manoeuvres in the fleet at the moment. Don't want to jinx them. 4:07. Here we go. Come back to the start, and the Australians and the British were absolutely perfect, but it was Australia with the faster angle to Mark 1. They just kept clear of Fletcher, and maybe Dylan will be regretting that second little dig he took at the Australians after Mark 1, because it was brilliant from both boats. We're on board the Australian boat here. Here comes Great Britain, tries to push Australia. Slingsby reacts, and now he's just clear ahead. I'm sure it was tight, but all was good from the umpires. On board Mark 1, what a view that is as we see how tight it is and the speed they come in. Just clear ahead there, and the British on the inside, but he needed to manoeuvre away a little earlier.
Back to live racing action at gate number 4, the DP World Gate. They split the course this time, so Australia going to that favor side, which they have used so many times before. Spain decides to go closer to the shore and right in front of the fans, and it's Emirates GBR in 3rd.
Oh, you just know any time you get a split in the race like that as the leader, you're nervous. As soon as you get some separation, a change in the wind means that it could benefit that other team. So Spain right now, have they got more wind? To me, they look like they're going well. Let's come in. Here we go. The Oracle Cloud tells us their wind strength is pretty similar, but Spain are quicker at the moment. Tash Bryant's calling across to Australia by 1. It's a gain to Spain out of the bottom gate there. The split has paid off, but it's Australia now heading towards that windier side. Lisa, who's heading to the most breeze right now?
Well, Stevie, it's pretty hectic out here. I think it was a big gain by the Spanish team, so it's going to be neck and neck at this top gate.
There we go, the Rolex chasing time, Todd, down to 4 seconds. Right of way will be with Australia if it's close when they come back together, but it could be a split again at the top gate, and it'll be all about who finds the most wind out of this top gate.
The gap keeps coming down, and Spain still believing that they can get the win and take down the mighty Australians. And here we go. It comes down to this final leg. This is like 5 of 7. They'll get to this gate, and then the race is on.
Yeah, the Spanish looked like they were in good wind there, Todd. I wouldn't be surprised to see another small gain to the Spanish here. They could be absolutely neck and neck. Right of ways with Australia. Our ladder lines show a 50-metre lead to Australia. I think it could be closer than that when they come together, but the Spanish are going to turn right. The water looks choppier that side. It's going to be higher risk. Big gain to Spain here. Can they dive on the inside? Could be a last-minute dip behind for Spain. No, they drop the board. They're going to try and dive inside. I'm not sure that's the right move. I do not sure that's the right move. He's going to try and force Australia wide. Oh, it's so tight. They've executed it well, but that was too aggressive for me. I think he should have split the course. Green from the umpires, no penalty. I think the Spanish should have gone the other way and tried to take the split there. That was a mistake for me.
So Diego Botín rolls the dice, and it comes up snake eyes there on that last gate. Stevie, they go to the other side. There's more pressure there, and now they split away.
Well, they've split away now, but I think they had the chance to just dip straight behind the Australians there. Anyway, very easy sat here from this booth. Diego clearly thought he had a shot at it. He tried it, but they just couldn't stick the manoeuvre. It's now just about, can the Australians do 2 more foiling manoeuvres to get round this final turning mark, and then it could be a victory in front of those Kiwi fans.
And look at the lead now, ballooning to 200 meters. Chasing time is 11 seconds. So Tom Slingsby and the Aussies, all they need to do is be clean around this last gate, and it's a straight shot to victory lane.
Yeah, they're going to make this, Todd. They're in 1 here, so it's just about the roundup. Beautiful downwind leg by the Aussies here. 2 300-meter gain. Here we go. Going to get to do it in front of the Kiwi fans.
And the Emirates fly time, 82% for Tom Slingsby and the Flying Roos as they bring it home. And there's the finish line. The sold-out crowd will bring them home. They'd rather see black foils, but they're going to see green and gold as they come to the line. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians.
Oh, well, they've been the form team of the event. They deserve that big celebration. We keep saying, up against... You've got to remember Spain are the defending champions. Right. That's going to mean a lot to Tom Slingsby. He's not won for a while. He's going to love that. Oh, something's gone wrong there. Too much cant put on by the foil controller. Joe Cardona there, that's a mistake, but it's not going to hurt them too much, but it did get Diego excited.
And they do bring it across safely, so Spain will finish in 2nd place, pick up 9 points on the season, and another strong showing. Top 3 finish at the event. Emirates GBR will finish in 3rd after they finish 2nd at the first event. And let's not forget, the next event just across the Tasman Sea for the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney. Tom will be looking to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I thought Slingsby was the form boat over in Dubai, but they made a mistake on the Sunday. So they are form, they're fast, and yeah, they're going to love what they're doing right now.